Hello everyone, welcome back to FPL Without Borders. I am your host Arsalan and we will be doing a Game Week 6 deadline day review. We will be going through a lot of content, so let's just quickly go through the agenda. By the way, if you're new around here, we're at 46 subscribers and just 4 more subscribers away from the 50 mark, so would highly appreciate if you hit that button. Number one, we'll go through the press conferences, the roundup for all the players who is injured, who's back. We'll go through that quickly so you don't have to listen to all the press conferences. We'll go through some of the chip strategies. So obviously, game week 6 wildcard, should you wildcard or not, the pros and cons for that. And we will also share a wildcard draft as well, free hit draft, and then Eagle's Eye would be our differential picks for this week. And then we'll quickly go through captaincy decision and our bus teams. So moving on without wasting any time to FPL injuries and roundups, basically the biggest news from the press conferences right now is that Erling Haaland is ready, is what Pep Guardiola had to say. So he should be good for all the captainers and the triple captainers and everybody who is holding on to the Haaland transfer. I think you're good to go. Marmoush, Cherki, and Ait Nouri are still out. Robert Sanchez from Chelsea is should be playing this game as he served his one match ban in the Carabao Cup midweek game. Palmer and Tosin are out till international break. That would mean game week 8, so you still have 3 weeks before you know more about them. I think they're an avoid and are sell if you still own them. Saka and Odegaard are good to go. Odegaard might not start the game, might see managed minutes, but Saka still played the midweek game as well, so Saka is definitely good to go. Sar and Wharton for Crystal Palace are back, which is a huge boost in terms of their attack, in my opinion. Even impacts Mateta owners because the attacking output in general should improve. Isak is definitely going to start as Ekitike picked up a red card during the midweek game when he removed his shirt to get his second yellow card in the 88th minute. So, yeah, Isak should be ready to go. Cunha, Dallo, and Mount, all three of them are good to go as well. While Ahmad is out due to his personal reasons, we should miss this game. D. Cooper and Minte from Brighton are also good to go. Strand Larson is ready to play, although his minutes might be managed as per the manager. Gordon and Murphy, both of them being back, is a huge boost for Newcastle attack as well. And apart from that, Aina, Solanke, Ronaldo, and Van Bissaka, all of them are marked injured and not available. Before diving into Game Week 6, let's quickly review some of the main stats from Game Week 1 to 5. So, what have we learned? In terms of expected goals, so the best attack, Manchester United is number one. In terms of their XG, they've reported 10 XG in the last 5 games, which is the highest in the league, although they haven't converted much. So that's one to watch. If I have Bruno or Bumo or Cunha, I would definitely hold on to them. And for all wildcarders, I would still recommend you hold on to at least one of them. And my favorite pick is Bruno. Man City are number two in terms of XG, and then Crystal Palace and Chelsea. The and Brighton as well is in the top five. Ones to note are Arsenal and Liverpool are still at number six and number eight in terms of XG. So that's definitely one to look out for. Me personally, I'm avoiding any Arsenal assets because not because they're a bad attack, but because there are too many attackers and the minutes might be rotated. In terms of the best defense, um, all of them are obvious shouts apart from one. The best defense in the league yet in terms of expected goals conceded is Newcastle. So Newcastle and the weirdest part to me is like I've seen all the wild card, all the drafts I've seen, nobody has gone with Newcastle, and yeah, I think they are being overlooked. Um, go for Newcastle assets if you can. Pope is a good shout as well as you can go with Dan Burn. So yeah, that's definitely one to look out for. And then the worst defenses, number one is Burnley with expected goals conceded 10 in the last 5 games, so at least 2 goals a game. and there is no shocker why people are transferring in Man City assets and triple captaining Haaland. The other the other worst defenses are Aston Villa, Forest, West Ham, and Wolves. So these are your teams to target. So yeah, chip discussion. Should you triple captain Haaland or not? So a couple of things here. Number one, Haaland's form is on. He is on fire. He has scored. He's been scoring every game basically. So I think no need to mention that. Then you also have Man City, which is the best XG team, like number two, playing the worst XGC team. I sorry, it's worst, not best. So worst XGC team, which is Burnley. He is fully rested from last week, and he did not play the midweek game, so he should be fully ready to go. Um, Also, the question of whether should you wait for your triple captaincy or you should do it right now. So right now you have all the data you need to make a decision for a triple captain right now. Like there is no rotation risk with Haaland in terms of other attackers being out from the Man City team. But when you look at game week 12 or game week 13 or game week 14, when City and Liverpool again have good fixtures, you that's like December and end of November period in which you don't really know who will be playing. Will Salah be essential? Would Isak be essential? Would any of them be injured? They would have UCL games in the middle of them, in the middle as well. So overall, there's a lot of uncertainty, and I really think you shouldn't overthink it. If you already have Haaland, go with him. But if you have obviously wildcarded this week, you can't play triple captain. So you can get to him if you're not using a chip, but if you are, that's fine. Should you wildcard or not? I get this question a lot, and I think the best structured way of thinking about it is you should look for certain triggers, and once you or your team hit those triggers, you should hit the wildcard. That's how I think about it. So, what are these triggers? So, number one, data. So now that we are in game week 6, we have at least 5 weeks of game week. We have 5 weeks of data, which is a decent enough sample size. So what do you look in this data? So you look at your team and you look at the expected goals, expected assists, expected minutes of the players that you have in your team right now. And then you look at the team you want and their minutes and their expected goals. And if there's a big difference in what you have and what you want, um, so yeah, that's one trigger for hitting a wild card. Number two is fixtures. So obviously game week 6 onwards, um, Man City, Chelsea, and Liverpool have decent fixtures, and then from game week 9 you have Arsenal getting good fixtures. So if 2 to 3 elite teams start a good run of fixtures, and if you don't own them already, I think that's one more trigger for hitting your wild card. And lastly, squad health. So if you have more than 4 fires in your team, or there's a structural mismatch. So let's say you went with the wrong premiums, or you went with Salah no Haaland, or you went with Haaland no Salah, and now you want both. Anyways, the point is, or you have injuries, or your bench is super weak and your bench players are not getting minutes. Whatever the reason is, if your squad has more than 4 fires, and if you think you might have to take a lot of hits to fix that, I think I think you're in wildcard territory. All right. Chip discussion. So yeah, the pros and cons of wildcarding right now versus later. So again, you can attack the fixture swing that's happening right now and stack up on Arsenal and City assets. In particular, um, one more reason of wildcarding earlier is hedging against your expected team value will rise, right? So your team will keep losing value and the team you want to get to will keep increasing in value. So you might run out of budget is one reason, although squad budget isn't the biggest factor in making a decision. But if you know that for sure you want Senesi in your team, you want Haaland in your team, like you really want these 3, 4 players, and if you're getting priced out of them, um, doing it sooner wouldn't would make sense because you can also like just your free transfers, like rather than burning your free transfers and catching up to the template, you can hit reset to your team, fix your team, bank the free transfers, and if you wanna adjust your team in 2 to 3 game weeks, you will still have your free transfers to use. So try to stay ahead of the curve, and for that, early wildcard would be helpful. The cons for hitting wildcard this week would be you won't be able to use triple captain or free hit, which um, I don't think matter because wildcard is the most important chip in the game. And game week 8 is also a very good wildcard window in a sense that wildcard 8 is after an international break. So you will have more data, you'll have more injury updates as well. And you'll know, for example, for Liverpool, how are Salah and Isak playing together, who's getting benched, who's getting how many minutes. So that's also a good window to look out for. We came up with a player pool of players you should have on your wildcard. And I'll go through some of them really quick because it's a long list. And the point was we will share our wildcard draft too, but the wildcard draft won't fit everyone, right? Like everyone's style of playing is different. So we'll share some of the must-haves and then a pool of players you can pick your best from. And that would also obviously depend on the structure you're going with. Like, are you going with a 6.0 defender or are you not? That would impact a lot. If you are you going with Salah plus Haaland structure or are you not? So depending on if you what your structure is, then pick your favorite picks from these. So from goalkeeper, obviously Dubravka, no need to say anything. He is a must-have. But from the other five top picks, in my opinion, are Raya, Pope, Vicario, and Petrovic. Raya is your set and forget Arsenal defender. You can go with Raya plus Gabriel. I personally went with Raya only, and obviously the reason being he is your set and forget keeper. Arsenal until game week 15 have the best defensive fixtures according to the stats Rob T has shared from Solu Analytics. So he's my best pick, but he's again 5.5. So you want to cheap down on your keeper and save some money for your attack. Pope and Vicario are the next two best shouts. We discussed just now that Newcastle are number one in terms of XGC, so they have been the best defense in the league, which means and their defenders obviously see rotation. So if you want to avoid the rotation, Pope is the safest pick, and then Vicario being Spurs having a good run of fixtures, and then also Spurs defensively have improved significantly. And then Petrovic if you want to double up on Bournemouth. From defenders, Senesi and Anderson are undoubtedly hands down must have. Everyone should have them in your team. And surprisingly, even after all these transfers and all the hype and all the price rises, Senesi is still less than 15% owned, if I'm not wrong. So that's that. But apart from that, you basically target your Spurs defenders, your Newcastle defenders, your Arsenal defenders, and uh, so that's generally the pool you pick from. So you could from Arsenal you could go with Gabriel or Timber or Calafiori or even Saliba. But again, with Arsenal, I wouldn't be shocked if there is a random benching that you see, and because they have so many options in defense now, so many quality options in defense now. You can also go with Crystal Palace defenders, so Lacroix or Richards would be the shouts there. And then from your cheap 4.0s, there's Sunderland and Leeds defenders I prefer. Sunderland being the best in terms of defensive record compared to the other promoted teams. From midfielders, Bruno and Reinders are no doubt the best picks, and you must have them if you're wildcarding right now, especially with um, Man City midfielders being out and Reinders having a clear shot on minutes. Simmons is a good one. He is a bit under the radar. Spurs, if you look at the next three fixtures, they're actually playing Wolves and they're playing the promoted teams as well. So he becomes a good shout. So Simmons or Kudus. And if you and then you obviously have from your evident midfielders, you have Endai, and then you have KDH, Dewsbury Hall, and then Grealish. My personal pick from all of them is Endai because he's also on penalties and he is nailed for minutes. And then you have your Liverpool midfielders. who are generally an avoid in my opinion, apart from Salah, because even Gakpo is fine because his minutes should be secured, but their fixtures aren't too great. So unless you are on Salah plus Haaland, um, yeah, that's basically it. And from the cheap midfielders, um, from 5.0s, you have KDH, so Dewsbury Hall, and you have Stack from Leeds, who's also on penalties and set pieces, a bit under the radar as well. Haaland and João Pedro from the strikers are nailed in my opinion. Gyökeres I don't personally trust too much because his minutes, he's seen some 60 70 minute subs, and with Saka coming back I am unsure about his penalties. So Gyökeres in my opinion is not a must have, but obviously he's a great pick if you want to go that way. A couple of new options have appeared. So DCL, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is back. He is a four, I think he's 5.4. So and he's starting. So I don't like this shout, but if you want to save some money from your attacker and invest on defense, if you're on a Salah plus Haaland draft, for example, you can definitely go there. And then Igor Jesus has taken Chris Wood's place in Nottingham Forest team. So again, he becomes an amazing shout. Um, Isak versus Ekitike, they'll keep sharing minutes, so we don't really know. And then Mateta is an evergreen pick. I wouldn't go against him at all, especially after Sar is back. So Wildcard 6 and Free Hit 6 draft for you. And Wildcard 6, again, depends on your structure. This structure is Salah plus Haaland. So you go with Salah plus Haaland, and then you have João Pedro and Strand Larson in your attack. And then in your midfield, you have Salah, Bruno, Reinders, and Dewsbury Hall with Caicedo on the bench. Why I love Caicedo is at 5.5. His minimum floor is like 4 points every game, right? He gets 4 points every game. That's the best part about him. And obviously, he won't score attacking returns, but 4 points every game is like 4 into 38. You get like 130 plus points easily, which is insane at one. It's 5.5, I think. And from your defense, Senesi and Anderson are locks. Lacra is 5.5.0. He's my Crystal Palace defender. Again, Defcon monster. Um and I have gone with two 4.0s, both of them, Iqdal and Ronaldo. Ronaldo could be Elderet. Honestly, I prefer Elderet over him, so you can go with both of them. Both of them are 90-minute DEFCON players. And then free hit draft. Free hit, you got to target a couple of teams. So Man City and Spurs have the best fixture, as you can see. So I've gone with triple Man City. So Reinders, Haaland, and Foden, and then Richarlison and Xavi Simons from Spurs, and then Vicario on defense, and then the rest are placeholders. So you can, I personally like João Pedro a lot, Brighton at home, and then Bruno Fernandes against Brentford away, and then you have Anderson, Senesi, and Moses Keane. Keane being their best header. Keane is the best header in the team. So yeah, I would go with Moses Keane. 1 minute, guys. The screen share has stopped, so give me a second while I get that up. All right. Yeah, that was the free hit draft that we recommend. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes, I think, and João Pedro, you can flip them with anyone else as well, depending on your preference. It's a free hit, so you can honestly punt. Captaincy is a no-brainer this week. Erling Haaland, captain him or triple captain him if you can. And if you don't have Haaland, firstly, hide behind the sofa during the game. But the next best fixture, I think, again, if you have Spurs assets, you can go with Richarlison. I would go with João Pedro if I didn't have Haaland. Uh, Bus teams on the left, you see my team, where I have Raya, Lacrosse, Senesi, and Anderson in defense. Salah, Bruno, Reinders, Dewsbury Hall in midfield. Joao Pedro, Haaland, and Strand Larsen in attack. I'm rolling a transfer. I wildcarded in game week 5, so the team looks solid. And then I am moving ahead with two free transfers and triple captain Haaland. Essen isn't here today, but Essen made two transfers, one on a -4. So Palmer and Watkins from his team become Haaland and Reinders. I think a pretty straightforward moves, and he is also triple captaining Haaland. That is pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And if you made it till here, we are at 46 subscribers, just 4 subscribers away from 50 mark, and would highly appreciate it if you just drop a like and a subscribe. Good luck with your game week 6, and we will be back right after game week 6 to do a review of the game week from an FPL point of view. So don't miss out on that. And good luck with your game week 6. See you.